You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. That peacock wants to fly. We want to get this season started. March 16th is the official start of the NFL season. March 14th, of course, is legal tampering. How is it legal if you're tampering? I've never understood that. I've never understood a couple things with the NFL. It's off season. Legal tampering, Rule of 51. There's a couple things I never get why they do it or what they do it for. But you know what? It's not here or there for me to understand. It's here nor there for me to do what I do, and that's create giant content. Closing in on the big 10,000 subscribers. I think we're like 90 away, 80 away. We will do a 10,000 thank you stream. We're going to give away about 5 rings. And that's 5 Eli Manning 2011 replica Super Bowl rings. We've been giving those away for a couple of years now. So we're going to be doing that. I want to talk about Mitchell Trubisky potentially coming here to the Giants. Him and Marcus Mariota are a pair that I've always been interested in bringing the Giants. Did a Marcus Mariota video when he got released by the Titans 2 years ago. But Trubisky is someone I want to talk about. I also want to talk about college stats. We had a good conversation on the stream on Tuesday about college stats. And I told people, you know what? I don't follow college stats. When a player comes in the league, I don't look at them. And most NFL executives and scouts don't look at them either. Why? Because it's college. What you're doing in college, you're not going to be able to do in the pros because the talent competition in college is a lot different than that in the pros. If you're playing Sister Mary of the Poor, which is kind of like playing the Giants last year, you're going to look better than if you were playing Oklahoma. Now, the thing is, what people look at in college when they look at films, and I can tell you this from experience, they don't look at the stats and go, oh, this player had 47 pressures, or this player had 10 and a half sacks. They take a look at the attributes. And I've said this a million times, especially even about Malik Willis. If you're going to look at his film, you don't look at his stats. You look at what he does on the field. You look at how he moves. You look at what happens when the play is good, what happens when the play is bad, and what happens when the play breaks down. We've talked about this. You don't look at that he was 14 of 28 for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. You don't look at that. You look at his ability to throw on the run. You look at his ability to throw on the pressure. You look at his ability to throw on the pocket. You look at his ability to sense the pressure, to feel and sense the presence, to move within the pocket while keeping your eyes downfield to throw the ball. Those are the things, NFL scouts look at. They don't look at, well, this guy threw for 4,000 yards. Look at Dwayne Haskins, great example. Wonderful first season, wonderful only starting season. But there were so many things wrong with his game that he fell down to Washington. And then he fell basically out of Washington over into Pittsburgh. If you look at his stats, he's the greatest college football player ever. Look at Tim Tebow, greatest football college player ever. Did things that have never been done before in college football. But you know what happened? What didn't translate into the NFL. Why? Because he didn't have the physical attributes. Yeah, Josh McDaniels went crazy and took him in the first round. Most people have him going in the third or the fourth. But he didn't have the physical attributes to fill out into an NFL roster. So NFL scouts don't sit there and go, this player had 200 yards rushing against Acorn State. No, they look at his 40 time. They look at his quickness. They look how fast he hits the holes. They look at the film. They don't look at the stats. And I think that's what a lot of people missed in that conversation yesterday. I will tell you this. The only people that look at the stats are fans. Fans and beat writers. NFL scouts do not look at the stats. And once we figure that out, I think we're going to be a lot better off when we're drafting some players. Mitchell Trubisky. Oh, my goodness gracious. Quarterback, Buffalo Bills. You know what? I still want the Giants to go out and
Malik Willis. Bring him the boom.
And go out and get that Malik Willis and bring the boom to MetLife. But you know what? If we're stuck with Daniel Jones, we got to figure something out. And what we need to figure out is we need to get him a backup. We need to get him a quality backup. We need to get him a guy that can actually push him for his job. I know that's a crazy proposition to actually have your 4th year quarterback who you're still trying to figure out who the hell he is and what the hell he can do, push him for his job. And I think that's what Mitchell Trubisky can do. Trubisky's biggest problem has always been is where he's been drafted. Number 2 overall by the Bears. They spent all that time to spent all that draft capital to move up to go get him. That was not Mitchell Trubisky's fault. I've said the same thing about Daniel Jones. One of the biggest issues with Daniel Jones is he was taken 6th overall. If he was taken 48th, we wouldn't be having these conversations. We wouldn't have these conversations at all. But it's where Trubisky was drafted and expectations what causes him a problem. If you take a look at his stats, he's not that bad. Threw for over 10,652 yards, 64% completion percentage, 64 touchdowns, 38 interceptions. Was sacked 111 times. Has fumbled 18 times. And that's over, let's see here. Really, we'll just say he fumbled those 18 times in 4 years, which is an improvement over Daniel Jones. Has never had a season outside of 2021 where he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. He's a guy that, like I said, if you look at where he was drafted, that's what people have the problem with. Where he was drafted, not what he's done in the league. He's also rushed for over 1,000 yards in his 5-year career, 5.3 yards carry, 9 touchdowns. He's more of a scrambler than Daniel Jones. He showed that in 18. He's more of I've said it a million times, he's more of a like a point guard that can create his own shot. He moves around the pocket with some fluidity. But again, when you're drafted second overall, and your team spent all this draft capital to go up and get you, and you don't turn into Patrick Mahomes, then that's when people have problems. So he was kind of unceremoniously run out of Chicago. I don't think rightfully so. His last season in 2020, he did complete 67% of his passes, over 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So he played well enough. But again, it's expectations. He has had such an up and down career, though. He'll have like a 5-game stretch where he looks like Johnny Unitas. Then he'll have a 5-game stretch where he looks like Jeff Cuomo. Go look it up, guys. Worst quarterback in the Lions history. I know I like to drop references no one's ever freaking hearing about here. That's just what we do on this show. And going back, yeah, that's what we do on the show. But you know what? There are also a lot of executives in this league that say, don't be shocked and don't be surprised if Mitchell goes somewhere to compete for a job. Because he has the attributes. He's young enough still. 6'2", 220 pounds. He's got the physical ability. I just think that, you know what? It's like I said it before, like Daniel Jones, it is a situation that it's expectations where you were drafted over your talent and what you actually produced. If Trubisky would have went 28th and had those stats, he probably would still be with the Bears. The Bears. But like I said, there are a lot of executives that saying they could see Trubisky going to a place where he has a chance to be a starting option. That he can go out, where he can go out. One executive, AFC executive says he'll have to go there and earn it, but there's certainly enough there that the right offense can accommodate him. The offense in Chicago was pretty rigid and on script. I'm not sure it suited him. It doesn't suit him. And that's what I said. He is more of a creator. He's more of a facilitator. He's going to aggravate you at times. I've watched a lot of the Trubisky film recently. He's a guy when he's at best when the play breaks down. So I mean, he's some ways he's the anti-Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, everything has to be perfect. The line has to be perfect. The blocking has to be perfect. The wide receiver matchups need to be perfect. The throwing window needs to be perfect. The weather needs to be perfect. And then he's spot on. Look at him in the dome. But when things break down, that's where Daniel Jones panics. Now, if you really truly want to find out what you have in your quarterback in Daniel Jones, you go out and you get a Mitchell Trubisky. You go out and get a Marcus Mariota. You go out and create the competition. Now, I don't think Trubisky is going to sign a minimum deal. I don't think that. He signed for, 2.5 last season. We had the wonderful Mike Lennon signed for only 1.35. But the Giants, right now, we're in a bad cap situation. We're not in a good area. He would also, to me, be a very attractive option for the Dable. Because he's been in this, because if Dable's going to run hopefully a similar system he ran in Buffalo, we don't know. But if he does, he's got the perfect tutor in Mitchell Trubisky. And it's a guy, like I said before, he's got a chance. He's got an opportunity. And I think if he goes to the right situation, he'll play. If I was Trubisky, I would go to the Giants because A, Daniel Jones can never stay healthy. B, his career is up and down. It's kind of like the stock market is right now. And you have an idea that you're probably going to play. And since they failed in hiring Ken Dorsey, who is the quarterback coach over at with the Bills, he's now the coordinator. You could be kind of bringing in another Ken Dorsey. I know we have Davis Webb, but Davis Webb, and like I said, Davis Webb we signed him a futures contract. He's a film guy. Evidently, he's a gym rat. He's a film guy. He's a film room guy. He's like a coach on the field. But I don't want to coach on the field. If the season falls apart on Daniel Jones, I don't want to have what happened last year. I want to have the ability to stay competitive in games. And like I said, if we win 4 games, I'll be happy. Anything over 4 games next year is gonna be a bonus to me. It's about growing the talent. It's about building the talent. It's about cultivating the talent. And that's what we need to do. And I'm telling you right now, I could run with Mitchie the Kid for a year. Maybe even 2 before we bring in the
Malik Willis. Bring in the boom.
So we bring that boom into MetLife. Oh, I love doing that music because so many people hate it. They hate it because I think they just hate Malik Willis. I don't know why. He's a good kid. Goes to a Baptist college. Praises God. He's got all the talent in the world. Evidently, he's extremely smart, according to Dan Campbell. How quickly he came in and picked up the playbook. I don't know. That's just my thought. We're going to do the big stream, of course, when we hit 10,000. Hey, if we hit 10,000 before Friday afternoon, we'll do a Friday night stream. Why not? But if not, we'll be doing it hopefully on Sunday, because we always do our 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning stream, so that'll be fun. We'll also have we got the Poppycocker merch coming out. We got the Draft Baby Yeah t-shirts coming up.
Draft Baby Yeah.
We're going to have those for the draft, so you know what? If you want to get one of those before the draft, because we're going to have the big draft special. Doing it like we did last year. Doing it well. Represent Queens. She was raised out of Brooklyn. But we're going to have a lot of fun, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun these next coming weeks coming up, because, like I said, we're going to have a lot to work. Giants got a lot of work to do before March 16th. So let's get this ball rolling. It's the 24th. And again, this is Tim of the Online Big Blue, bringing the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you could maybe subscribe, ring that bell, you think what it means, that'd be awesome.